It just takes a second. All right, so saying we are live. So we will get this thing kicked off. We have a few people here. We have TCB. TCB kind of let me know that I was missed last time, and of course
Uh-huh.
not. Well, he's always one of our regulars. So yeah, we were just talking before we came in. We were just talking about Christmas and getting ready for Christmas, and um, so it's fast approaching. Can't
I've just
believe
got
it. What's that?
I've just got an announcement saying Mark's Elvis for Everyone channel is live. That's nice to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to kind of make this, Dave and I want to make this interactive. One of the things, this was actually David's idea, and it was a grand idea indeed. Um, when we were trying to come up with material for this program, David a couple of weeks ago was supposed to be the last live stream, but unfortunately I dozed off. But he said, let's come up with some, hypothetically, say RCA approached this and said, hey, we want you to come up with the ultimate Elvis Christmas album. You pick the songs, and what would you come up with? So we each came up with 12 songs. We did it in like an LP format where you have side one and side two. And I actually kind of took it a little step further. I came up with my own album cover. So I'll show you that momentarily. Um, I have six on side one and six on side two. David, you were saying yours is slightly a little bit different.
7 and 5, yeah.
7 and 5. So it will be interesting to see how close our titles are aligned and how close they are to each other. Um, so David, since you are, we flip flop this for those that are watching. We got Ken Pope. Hey, Mark, you must have taken your your notice tonight. No, I was just I took a lot of monster drinks and a couple cups of coffee. So no, I'm exactly ready and raring to go. Are you getting feedback from me, David?
No, it sounds fine.
Okay, good. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I don't know if it's my mic. I don't know what it is, but so yeah, we'll keep an eye on the chat. We welcome everybody who's tuned in. We appreciate each and every one of you. What I was about to say was we alternate. I think last time it was on Dave's channel, and that's Elvis Presley Japan. Tonight it's on mine. When we do this again, we'll flip back to David, so we just alternate back and forth. So since David technically is the guest on this show, I'm going to let him take the first crack on side one and his first song. If you would be so kind to let us know what you got.
Sure. Side one, track one, side one. No surprises here. It's Santa Claus is back in town.
Okay, that is also my first song. Santa Claus is back in town.
Right. Why? You can't really change perfection. You can't improve on perfection, can you?
No, I mean, to me, that is one of the very first songs, if not the first song I ever heard with Elvis. As I've said before on my channel, it's the album that I remember hearing every Christmas. My mom would pull out and put on her massive cabinet with the stereo and the 8-track and the radio and all that. And that's what got me into Elvis. And it is, for me, it's my favorite. It's my all-time favorite Christmas song. Not only is it one of my favorite Elvis songs, but it's my favorite Christmas song of all time. Um, you couldn't have asked for a better song to kick off that album. And of course, we're referring to Elvis's Christmas album, which came out in 1957. But yeah, David, you and I were spot on that one. So we'll see how similar you and I are. I will move on to, and like I said, I'm going to try to keep an eye on the comments. For my second song, I stuck with the same album, and I have track 2 is Blue Christmas.
Okay. Yeah. Any reason why?
Blue Christmas, as I don't know how it is in Japan, but Blue Christmas is just that that classic Elvis song that I hear on the radio every single year around this time of year. it's probably regarded Elvis. It's probably regarded as Elvis' popular Christmas song, at least here in the United States. Um, and it's just a great song.
I think it was probably the first Elvis Christmas song I remember hearing. Yeah, it was a big favorite of mine when I was a kid. I still like it, but I think it was the first Elvis Christmas song I ever heard. Yeah.
And then you have Millie Kirkham, who provides the throughout. I mean, it's just. Pardon me with my tripod. I got to get a new tripod for my camera. It's faulty. It's failing on me. So, what was your second song?
Second song, I go with "O Little Town of Bethlehem" from the first Christmas album. So that one is on. Is that the first song on side 2?
First song
As
on
it is?
side 2.
Yeah. So
Surprisingly, side 2, I always refer to as the religious side. You had A Little Town of Bethlehem and Silent Night, which were more of the religious Christmas songs. Then of course you have the EP of Peace in the Valley, those 4 songs. But I may shock you, David, I did not choose either of those 2.
all right. Songs from side 2, yeah.
I almost went with Silent Night for a minute, and one other song beat it out.
All right.
So
what's your second one then?
my second one was Blue Christmas.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're on the. I've just done 2. You're on the third one, right? What's your third one? Sorry.
So my third one is going to the Elvis Sings "The Wonderful World of Christmas" from 1971. Might be my favorite track on that entire album, and I chose "It Won't Seem Like Christmas Without You."
All right. Okay, yeah, I never had that album. I know that some people really like that album, or a lot of people really like it, but I've kind of struggled with the Wonderful World of Christmas album over the years. It's been a bit of a slow burner with me. I'm slowly getting into it.
It's I was reading a little bit about the history of it a couple of hours ago, compiling this list, and other people felt the same way as you because it obviously did not do as well as Elvis's Christmas album. That was considered one of the all-time classic, greatest Christmas albums ever. But it's one of those albums that, as the years passed, and even after Elvis passed away, it gained some momentum and it got a lot more people. And now it's considered one that a lot of people go back to listen to. And I was kind of the same way. I was kind of a late to the game on that album, and it's only been a few years that I've known some of the songs on it for many years, but I never had the album. And it's a good one.
I never had it when I was a teenage Elvis record buyer. I never had that one, and there was, I think, just one other album from the 70s that I never owned, and that was from Elvis Presley Boulevard. And I think I was kind of confused by that recorded live text on the front.
It's sort of misleading.
Yeah, I didn't know any of the songs, and I thought, well, I don't know the songs, and if it's live anyway, I'm not really interested. So it was one of those albums I never got around to buying, and so that took a long while to get into.
Now, do you have it now?
Yeah, I've got both of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Like the Wonderful World of Christmas is very easy to find the American copy over here.
Oh, really?
I just happen to have a couple of copies of the American album. No, maybe about 4. Not because I bought those specifically, but because they came in like sets of records that I bought. So there's a couple of the Dynaflex ones that I've got, and a couple of the, I think it was reissued, wasn't it? About 77.
It was reissued, as an APL, I think was the serial number. It went from LSP to, which a lot of his did for some weird reason, but it went to like a flexi vinyl. And it's funny, I just did a video, I don't know, this last week, late last week, where I opened a couple of them, and it was, let's see if I can find it real quick. I don't want to hold you up here. Give me a second. Okay. So I had this, as you can still see, it still has the shrink on it. I can never get this right with StreamYard. But I did a sealed reveal, and if you notice, there is no hype sticker on this. But it is the LSP, 4579 stereo version. So I've seen this copy, and the first pressings of it, it came with a bonus photo or like a bonus photo card, um, uh,
Postcard.
postcard. Thank you. I couldn't think of it.
Mm.
My mind went blank. And but yeah, all the ones it did, there was a red and white, like a small rectangular sticker that like most of them did. Bonus limited time offer. Bonus photo or bonus photo card inside this album. So when I opened it, I was just expecting to get just the classic, orange label, which is what it was. And then when I took the album out, I looked inside, and long and behold, it
You
had
got
the
the bonus.
photo.
Oh.
Which, like I said, it was odd because I know after the first pressing, they know from what I understand, they no longer put the bonus photo, which was common. The first pressings had the sticker, the hype sticker, promoting it, and then and I don't know, you might know the answer to this, David, with the U.S. Movie soundtracks that came with bonus photos. Was it only the first pressings that had them, and then later pressings did not? Do you know?
I don't know. I know that the Clambake one has it has the text on the front saying limited period only, but it's not a sticker. It's actually printed on the cover. So I guess all of them came with the
Yeah.
package.
Well, yeah. With the other ones though, it's an actual sticker, I believe. So
Yeah.
I would love to find that out. Robert, I never know if I pronounced his last name correctly. Alanis,
Alanese.
Alanis. Thank you. I knew that. I knew I was pronouncing it wrong. Sorry, Robert, if you're watching this. That is not done intentionally. But he would know. That man knows so much. He has a wealth of knowledge. I'll have to pose that. I might reach out to him maybe tomorrow if I think of it and say, "Hey, Robert, I'm just curious, because just like Burning Love, it hits from his movies, Volume 2. It had the starburst, and like that was not right on the album, and that was only the first pressing, and then same year they re-released it, the second pressing, and there was no bonus photo. But I always wondered if it was the same way with the movie soundtracks. But
Does anyone? Maybe someone knows in the chat. Maybe someone maybe somebody who's what? If someone knows who's watching, just let us know.
Yeah. What are my favorites? So if I get home on Christmas Day, yeah, that's a great song, Ken. I'm looking at some of the comments.
Do you use the word dodgy in America? Do you know what that word means?
What word?
Dodgy. So Steve at TCB says it has a dodgy cover. He's talking about the Wonderful World of Christmas album.
Yeah,
Do you know what dodgy means? What does it mean? What it means? What does it mean, Steve? How would you define it? It just means it's a bit
plain,
uncool.
Yeah, it's. I mean, when you like with here, you see the picture of Elvis. They superimposed Elvis's head on the snowman and on Santa.
Right.
Yeah, I think they could have done a little bit better job on the cover. I kind of agree with him. Yeah, that was a nice surprise because I was not expecting to get the card because, like I said, all the ones I've seen has that red and white sticker that announces the bonus photo and for a limited time. So I was a little bit surprised.
I've got one here. It's got the shrink wrap. Same one, right? LSP 4579. Shrink wrap. Nothing inside. No postcard. Never mind.
Yeah, it's just like I said. I opened it, and I even said before I opened it in the video, I even said, "Well, this is probably at least a second pressing. It is the original LSP stereo, but there's no hype sticker." So when I took it out, I heard something kind of moving around. I looked inside, and there it was. I'm like, "Oh my word!" Yeah, because I almost bought a copy from Robert. He had a copy to sell me, and his had the hype sticker on it. And for some reason, I held off getting it, and I didn't get it from him. I bought a lot of other things from him, but I didn't buy that from him for some weird reason, and I guess that's why.
They probably just had some left over, printed more postcards than they did stickers. It happens with some of the Japanese albums as well. There was a series that came out in '73 with posters, and they reissued the albums without the posters. But if you're lucky, you can get one of the later albums with a poster because they printed more posters than than they needed.
Oh, okay. Maybe that makes pretty good sense then.
So what was the title of your third song? I've forgotten the title that
It
you mentioned.
it won't seem like Christmas without you.
All right, it won't seem. Just making a note to see how many we have in common. That's all.
Okay, yeah. So what
My,
was your
my, third,
rate?
my third track is Here Comes Santa Claus from the first album again.
Track
And
number 3.
that's my third track. Is it the third track on the album? I can't remember. But
It is the third track on side 1. Yes, I think.
the third track,
Yeah.
and I'm sticking with that one. Yeah. I like the way he draws. He slurs the lyrics in that song. Because he was accused of slurring the words to his songs back in the 50s, and that's one of those words where he does slur the lyrics, and it sounds really good though.
Well, I remember as a kid, because Elvis vocally could hit the high notes and he can hit the lower notes too. As in
Right.
later years in the 70s, mid 60s to late 70s, especially in the 70s, he was very baritone. But I remember being a little kid and thinking, man, he sounds like two different people. Like on Blue Christmas, he's got the lower voice, and then on, like Here Comes Santa Claus, well, he's got the higher voice. I always thought, like, man, he's got two voices.
Mm.
So, all right. What do you have for track 4?
Blue Christmas, yeah. So I noticed that Elvis does a lot of what you might call miserable Christmas songs, where he can't get home for Christmas, or he's broken-hearted at Christmas because he can't see someone he loves. And I tried to keep as few of those songs in as possible, but I couldn't resist Blue Christmas. You got to have that one in there.
It's a staple. You got to have it. I hear you. I'm the same way. I and it's funny. My wife's the same way too. Neither of us like slow, moody, sad songs. Which, going back to your comment about recorded live on Elvis Presley Boulevard, I think that album is depressing as all get out.
It's just that misery, isn't it, from top to bottom? But I do like it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got some highlights, but it's one of those albums that I do not put on the turntable because it is just so flippin' depressing.
I don't play it much either. You've got to be in
For
the
the
mood.
Heart. I think For the Heart is on that album. I love that song. But again, it's another song. But
we've got someone in from Australia, 2:15 East Coast time. I guess that's the time. Yeah, 2:15. It's 1:15 here, so they're an hour ahead in Australia.
Oh, okay. What's 1:15 in the afternoon on the 16th, right?
Yeah, 16th. Yeah.
Yeah.
1:15.
So I got another 45 minutes until it's still the 15th here in good old Delaware. So my 4th song, what was yours was Here Comes Santa Claus.
Blue Christmas.
Oh, that's right. Blue Christmas.
Yeah.
My 4th song was Oh Come All Ye Faithful.
Okay.
So technically there is a religious song. I didn't think I had any, but that one is considered a religious song. So I just like the way it's put together. I like the vocals from Elvis in that. Like I said, that's an album that's kind of grown on me, and I think there's a lot of great songs on it. There's a couple that are like to me, but I really, really like "Oh Come All You Faithful."
I like it. It builds up quite nicely as well.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, I have that somewhere, but not on side 1. The next one I have is White Christmas.
Okay, and not to give it away, I have that also, but on a different side.
Right. Well, it might be becoming apparent now, but I'm not mixing up I'm keeping all the 50s songs together.
Oh, you are? Okay, I kind of blended mine a little bit. I kind of mixed mine up a little bit. Don't know why I did it that way. That's just the way I kind of did, just to kind of give it. I guess I could have done it in like a chronological type thing with, the classics from the first album and the ones from the second. But yeah, I kind of intermixed mine together. So for my 5th one, I have probably my second favorite song on the album. His first one was Santa Bring My Baby Back to Me. Always a great, upbeat, fun song. I mean, he
Yeah, I
wants
like
his
that one.
baby back, but it's an upbeat song at least.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I kind of get the feeling that that he will bring her back. It seems quite a positive song, does that?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the message of the song is he's miserable. You know, his baby's gone. He wants her back, and he's hoping Santa will bring her. But I don't know.
Oh,
Man. As a kid, it was one of my favorites. I love the drumming. I want to say DJ Fontana was the drummer on that album.
well, it will have been one if there are two. I'm not sure. I can't remember if there are two on that session, but he certainly will have been on there, I think.
Yeah, that was during that time frame. That was one of his least session drummers. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I always, like I said, as a little kid, it always kind of made me sad because it was the last song on that first side. So I knew the album was coming to a close on that side, but I always loved that song.
That was actually a single in Britain. It was released on a single.
Oh, okay. It was released
Sorry.
as it was released as an EP here in the States.
Right. Mm.
It probably was everywhere else too. I think there was 2 volumes of that EP.
Yeah.
Um, I have the one. I don't have the second one. The one I have has Santa Bring My Baby Back to Me, Santa Claus is Back in Town, Blue Christmas, and I think Here Comes Santa Claus. I think that was the 4. And then the second volume was uh, Silent Night, A Little Town in Bethlehem, and I want to say White Christmas and maybe I'll Be Home for Christmas. I can't remember what the second volume was, but um,
I think we only got one Christmas EP at that time in the UK, as far as I remember.
oh, okay.
And it had a little space. I think it had a little drawing of Santa Claus on it, and there was a little space for you to write to and from, to give it as a present.
That's pretty cool.
And it's really hard to find one of those without names written on it.
Do you own a lot of EPs?
I've got quite a few Japanese ones. I've got a few English ones. I don't think I have any American ones. Maybe one or two. Yeah, quite a few, but mainly Japanese ones.
So Ken said, okay, so we're missing. So Joanne says, too many great Elvis songs. There are. I really wish he would have done, you figure in 19 years, I wish he would have done another Christmas album along the way. But Ken says, do you think most artists like making Christmas albums, or do they have to do it because they're good money makers? Uh, my opinion is I think unless you're the Grinch, I think that they perform well and they get paid well for it. But I personally think that they enjoy making Christmas albums. There's some artists like Johnny Cash. I think he made 6 Christmas albums in his lifetime.
You made what? Did you say 6?
I think 6.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Mathis made 4 or 5. So hearing that, I would say I think they enjoyed making them. I mean, they didn't. Most of them didn't compose themselves. They're staples, Christmas songs. What do you think? You agree with that?
I suppose it depends on the artist, really. If it was one of these bands who sort of takes themselves really seriously, then they would never do a Christmas album.
No.
I suppose it's a bit of both, really. It could even be that somebody would enjoy doing it and do it for the money.
Yeah, I'm with you though. I think a lot of these newer, and I personally am not a huge fan of the newer artists that are coming out with Christmas stuff. I like a few of them. I like Michael Bublé and a couple of the other ones, and um, but yeah, I like the classics. I like the Andy Williams. I like Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra. To me, they're the classics I grew up on. Elvis, of course. Mike says, "Hi, Mark. How are you doing, bro? I'm about to pre-order the upcoming 4 CD FTD from Louisiana to Memphis." Yeah, I am not. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it or not. Are you picking up any of the new FTDs, David?
I don't get FTDs unless I find them like new, still sealed on the used market or used, because when they come to Japan, they're a lot more expensive than they are, if you buy them in Europe or I guess Europe's the cheapest place to buy them, and then the US, but they're quite expensive here. So I just wait until they come up used, you know.
Now, when you say quite expensive, are you talking like 60, $70 expensive?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean the FTD albums, for example, you can get those at Tower Records in Japan, but they go for over $100,
Now,
brand new.
which ones do they have? Like all of them?
Yeah, but they don't order many because they go out of stock really quickly. So, you know, for example, the one that just came out, the Will's Fair one, I think it is. Kid
Uh,
Gal had those sort of albums. I think you can get them at Tower Records on the Japanese website, but they're yeah, like I say, around about $100, just over $100.
okay, but the older ones you can't get anymore.
You can't get any of the old ones now.
Yeah. Let's see. Try to look at these comments, then we'll go back to our list. Hi guys, Merry Christmas from the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains in upstate South Carolina. Great discussion on songs from my favorite time of the year. It's my favorite time of the year. My mom always made it special. My dad did too. My mom baked with us and decorated the whole house, put up 2 Christmas trees. It was a lot of fun. Let's see. Mike says the reason it's 4 CDs is because the Mid South. Yeah, I always thought that was weird. On this 4 CD set that's coming out, David, and I don't know if it's to get more money for it. You have 2 shows on disc 1 and 2, and the last show, which is probably about an hour and a half, is split up on 2 discs. I found that odd. Hi guys, great to see you both again. Happy holidays. You too. Blast from the past. Just trying
So
to
if it's two shows, then they're going to be fairly similar, though, aren't they? If they're both from the same place, the same time, or same month.
Well, yeah, I think the Louisiana show. I think that late '77, but the
Oh,
Memphis
okay.
is at the Mid South Coliseum, but it's one show, but it's on 2 discs, which I find odd. They don't do
Okay.
that
It's called what, from Louisiana to I'm just looking for the comment. I
to
can't see.
Memphis. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Okay. So it's one concert in Louisiana, one concert in Memphis.
Well, discs 1 and 2 are 2 separate concerts. Maybe
Yeah.
a couple nights apart, and then disc 3 and 4. So there's 3 shows, but 4 discs. So
Right.
a lot of
Right.
people I've been saying they're just not real pleased about that because it's like, okay, why you just put it all on 1 disc and make it a 3 disc set? But
Well, if you said it's a 90-minute show, I don't think you can get a 90-minute show on one disc, though, can you?
well, as you know, his later concerts from like '76 on, he was always like an hour, sometimes less than an hour, but then his introductions with his band would go, each one would do a solo. It went from like a minute and a half to like 15 minutes. And then sometimes Kathy Westmoreland would do a solo. So his shows were like an hour and 20 minutes, which for him is long. Disc 1 is Louisiana, Disc 2 is Baton Rouge, and Disc 3 and 4 are the Mid South Coliseum in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
So Elvis was in good voice. He just was not in good health, and I think the later shows kind of saw that. And David, you may agree with this. You can kind of hear boredom setting in. I mean, and you can't blame him. I mean, he sometimes was doing an afternoon show, a matinee, and then an evening show, and then the very next day he'd do another show. Like he didn't take days off. He would do small tours, but he would do 18 days in a row, and he probably did get bored because his set list didn't change much. He might change 1 or 2 songs around, but essentially it was all the same.
Yeah, that's why I tend not to buy. I don't automatically buy all the new FTD live CDs. I mean, I've got a few. I used to sort of pick them up if there was a song on there that I'd never heard him do live before, but I tend to give most of them a miss these days.
Well, he did. I picked up 1 disc just for that very same reason that you just mentioned. I'm trying to think which one it was. It was about 3 weeks ago. I picked it. It was an FTD, and he actually did Wooden Heart on the show.
Was it like a full version, or was it just like 1 minute?
No, it was the full, Moosey Den, Moosey Den. Like he sang it, like it didn't have the bells and everything like in GI Blues. He had the band behind him, but it was just neat to hear, he never did that song live.
Right.
And I think another song, which is one of my favorite songs, he did it, and it wasn't as good as he did in 1970, but The Wonder of You, which he did not do very often after that time frame. It was very, very rare. He would, put that back in the set list. And I think he did it like twice from like 74 to 77. And this concert I bought had Wooden Heart and The Wonder of You. And I'm like, wow, like he never does that. The Memphis show would not fit. Okay, like you said, David, Robert C. is saying that Memphis show would not fit on one disc at all. I have it on import, and it's really long. Yeah. I am interested. Mike says, I am interested. And I hope, David, you don't mind me reading these.
No. Let's go for it, yeah. I mean,
Um,
I can see them, so it's okay.
Okay. I've been wanting to get back into getting FTD live shows. The Memphis show would not kill me. Go back. I missed one. I am interested in getting the FTD Vegas 71, 3 discs, 3 shows. The set list is cool. In 71, which I did not know this, in 71, he did The Impossible Dream as the closing vamp in those shows. I noticed that. He didn't end the show with Can't Help Falling in Love. He closed with Impossible Dream. Very, very cool.
Was that just a one-off?
I think it was just a one-off, something to change it up a little bit.
Mm.
Do you guys think, this is from Blast from the Past, do you guys think we will ever see official DVD release of the final tour? You said Mark Ellis wasn't very helpful, but I always thought his voice was still phenomenal. I'm not one of those people that, and I've seen on different forums on Facebook and different like chat, a lot of people are really gunning for them to remaster, digitally clean up the Elvis on tour, Elvis in concert show, which came out, was recorded in June of 77. And of course it aired here in the States in October of 77. I'm not a big proponent of that because like I said, Elvis, great voice. He sounded phenomenal. That never changed. He just looked tired. He just looked like he was just not in a good place. So for me, it was hard to watch because it's Elvis and how much I really loved his music. Okay, now the comments are coming in. You kind of feel the same way, David?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to release that anytime soon. Well, if ever.
I don't either.
Forget about it.
I actually, I don't either. And I think that's the reason why. I don't think it's a refusal or I'm just not wanting to do it. I think because Elvis was not physically, I'm saying, and the way he looked, he was not at the top of his game. And like I said, vocally, the band behind him, the excitement in the arena was palpable. It was huge. And Elvis show was a huge event whenever he would travel. And but again, I think because of where he was at that point in his life, and let's be honest, it was literally 6 weeks before he passed away, and I just think that's a big reason why they're not going to release them. So I'm with you, David. I don't think it's ever going to come out. Who knows? Let's see. Mike says, I wish FTD would find a soundboard for his November 1972 Hawaii show. That would be awesome. You want to read a few of these, David?
I'm just laughing at one I've read here. Did you choose the requested Christmas classic, Mama Like the Roses? Didn't think it was a Christmas song. Then I realized his mom liked the roses.
Yeah, I
did not choose that one, though.
No, I did not either, because to me it's a Christmas song.
Have you seen, Mark, have you seen this guy? He's just started on YouTube. He's got a really funny channel. He calls himself Beats Up Elvis Record Collection.
Yes. Yeah, I did see him. I watched a couple of his videos briefly.
He was doing a Christmas video last week, and he said, I think the only guy that requested this was the guy who wrote it. And I thought, yeah, that's probably right.
It's a depressing song.
Yeah.
Mama Like the Roses, and then you got Don't Cry Daddy. Like, oh my word, Cry Me a River. It's just,
I could never understand that line in that song. I kept the family Bible, and I thought, well, why would you not keep the family Bible?
I know.
Line. Anyway,
Yeah,
no, we did. Well, I didn't choose "Mama Like the Roses."
no, it's not a Christmas song. It's just, am I correct on that?
Yeah, I don't think it's a Christmas song. No. There's
No,
no reference to Christmas as far as I can tell.
no. It was definitely a bonus, a throw in for Camden to do to kind of fill out the album, I think.
Mm.
Did we finish side one? Or are we on the last one for side one?
You've
Oh,
got
you have seven on your side.
You gave me "Santa Bring My Baby Back to Me" as track 5, so I'll give you the same song as track 6. That is my 6th track on side 1. Yes, that's also on my album.
Oh, look at you. So my sixth song to end side one is "The First Noel."
That's Noel. Yeah, okay. So back to you've got quite a lot of Wonderful World songs on there.
Well,
It's
what I did was 6 and 6. I wanted to split it up even.
Don't think I could have done that, to be honest.
What's that?
I would have struggled to get 6 songs.
No, you would have. Based on what you told me, I think you would have struggled with "The Wonderful World of Christmas." What's that?
I've spent quite a bit of time listening to "The Wonderful World of Christmas," just so I could pick some more songs from that album, and it has been growing on me as a result.
Yeah, there's a couple on it that are just eh. What is it called? Holly Leaves and Christmas Tree. I can't remember what the song about. That's not one that I.
Holly Leaves and Christmas Trees, yeah.
Yeah, not one of the best ones.
That's a miserable song, isn't it? Holly Leaves and Christmas Trees don't mean as much when you're not here. It's another one of those lonely at Christmas time songs.
Ken Pope says, had Elvis lived, do you think he would have prevented showing that last CBS concert? No, because he knew that was being filmed. And I think even in the concert, which I remember seeing it when it aired back right after he had passed, he does make mention of the lights, the TV lights being hot and all that. And David, you might remember that he does allude to that. So he was aware, and he was okay with it. And he actually, what's that? What are you going to say, Dave?
It might have been a bit of a wake up call. Had he lived to see it,
I know.
And he threw himself and thought, crikey, I better look at the state I'm in. I better do something. It may have been a bit of a wake up call had he lived to see it.
Yeah, I completely agree. In fact, right after the concert ends, there's that little monologue. It's like a minute long from Vernon Presley, and it's very sad. I mean, he's in the office at Graceland, and he says he's received cards. He thanks people for the cards and gifts and the kind words, and it looks like he's going to break down and cry. And I know he took Elvis's death very, very hard. It affected him, immensely. But, the concert, the show ends. It's an hour long, and of course, they edited it for commercials and all that. But that little blurb at the end where he does that, man, it really gets you.
Yeah, it must be awful to. Can't imagine losing your own child. I mean, he was 42 years old, but he was still his child at the end of the day.
Oh yeah. Mike says I own roughly 102 Elvis FTD CDs, 7 FTD box sets, and 4 FTD LPs. I'm a huge fan and darn tootin' proud of it. Oop, got a little blurb that popped up.
That's amazing, isn't it? They started making those CDs. What was it? 1999. The first FTD came out.
Yeah, the first FTD was I think it was called Burbank '68.
All right. So that's what, 23 years and at least 100 CDs released in.
Well, I think CDs for the FTD CDs are up to like 170 plus. But they were putting out so many all the time. Now they've slowed it down because I think they're running out of material.
Yeah, they will be. But no other artist could get away with that kind of that number of reviews. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I agree.
An average of 4 FTD CDs a year. No one else could get away with that.
No, they couldn't. All right, so you have a 7th song.
Side 1, 7th song. It's Silent Night. You've got to end side 1 with Silent Night. It's a bit of a side closer for me. Is that one?
That's a great closer.
So the only Christmas song only Christmas song I've left off the first album is it's I get the titles confused now. It's I'll Be Home on Christmas Day, is it? Or If I Get Home.
I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yeah, I'll Be Home for Christmas. Yeah. So I think he does about 3 or 4 of those Getting Home for Christmas songs, and I only chose one, so I had to leave that one off, even though I like it.
Well, there's 2 similar like that on the second Christmas album.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So he's done 3 of those type songs in 2 albums. So I only chose one of them.
I think there's I'll Be Home on Christmas Day, and then there's If I Get Home on Christmas Day.
Right.
And then the first album has I'll Be Home for Christmas. So it's like, okay,
Right.
make up your mind, Elvis. When are you going to be home? Let's see.
Yeah, so that's the only one I left off the original Christmas album.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your first song on side 2 then?
So the first song on side 2 for me was, drum roll, I'll Be Home for Christmas from the first album.
Right.
The one that you left off.
Yeah. No, I do like it.
I thought it was a nice opener for the second side.
It's actually my favorite of the 3 Getting Home for Christmas songs, but I had to do something from Wonderful World of Christmas.
The 3 Getting Home for Christmas. Oh my!
And you know what? I don't think he gets home in any of them.
I don't know if he does. I wonder that. Did he get hit by a blizzard? Like what happened?
No idea. Anyway, so I'm moving on to side 2 now. My first song on side 2 has got to be "Merry Christmas, Baby." That's a real side opening guitar riff, isn't it? At the beginning of the song.
That is a great song, and in a moment, I'll tell you why I chuckle a little bit that you picked that one to open it, but you can probably put 2 and 2 together and figure it out.
I don't want the 8-minute version. I'm quite happy with the 5-minute version that's on the Wonderful World of Christmas.
Yeah,
I don't need the full length version.
Yeah,
I don't want to make the side too long. I don't want the side to be too long. I want the sound quality to be better. So keep it shorter.
I agree. All right, so we should be evened up now. For my second song on side 2, I picked White Christmas. Gotta have White Christmas. You have blue, you gotta have the other color.
Yeah, absolutely. No complaints. Got to be there. I read somewhere, maybe it's not true anymore, but I seem to remember reading somewhere that it was the biggest selling single of all time, White Christmas. I don't know. That could have been that could be old news. Bing Crosby, yeah.
Yes, not for Elvis, but for Bing Crosby. Your facts are right, spot on. It is the biggest to this day. It's the biggest selling Christmas song of all time. But again, you're going back 1951 maybe.
Was it as late as that? I thought it was earlier.
I could be wrong. I want to say it was 51, but I could be off by a couple of years.
Well, that song was released with Blue Christmas on a single in Japan, actually. Blue Christmas, White Christmas.
That's right. You had said that earlier.
I think also in the UK as well, if I'm not mistaken. In the mid-60s, it came out on a single. Blue Christmas and White Christmas.
Now, do you own the Japanese one?
I do. I just got it the other day, actually.
Oh, wow. Where'd you get it?
Got it here in Japan.
No, but did you get it at one of the stores that you usually frequent?
No, I got it online. I noticed it had an unusual label design, so I picked it up. I'll just see if I'll pull it out if you don't mind.
I'd love to see it.
Won't be a second.
And Curtis, I agree with you, buddy. Elvis' biggest song is Blue Christmas. And Blast from Your Past says Christmas 1994. Yeah, you might be right. For some reason, 51 just stuck out, but no, I'm no expert by any means.
No, I was wrong. It's not Blue Christmas, White Christmas. I was getting confused. I was getting confused with the UK single. The UK single is Blue Christmas, White Christmas. This one is Blue Christmas and Silent Night.
Oh, I love that cover. It's similar to the second cover of the album.
Yeah. And it's the record there. And I noticed it had an unusual label, so that's why I bought it. And there's actually a couple of EPs from Japan that have the same cover. There's an EP from '62.
Oh, nice. Now, if you don't
And
mind me asking, would you pay for that in US? Like, I know you paid in Japanese, but what would that convert to in US?
I think, when did I get this? Maybe a couple of weeks ago, I think. So I think this one was about
Oh,
$20, something like that.
that's not bad. Does it sound pretty clean? Does it play pretty clean?
I've just cleaned it this morning. I haven't actually played it yet.
Oh, okay. I was wondering how many
And
pops and.
well,
Oh, I
this one
like
is
that.
the same one, but it's in a picture sleeve. So you see, that's an actual picture sleeve there.
Yeah.
The first one, it's just a paper insert, a piece of paper with a separate
The,
sleeve.
now, are both of those Japanese pressings
Yeah. So this is the way it was first released, with the piece of paper, and then it came out a year later with the picture sleeve.
with a little bit of it with that blue banner at the top and a little bit darker cover?
Yeah, slightly darker cover. Yeah, they both got the blue banner at the top. It's just a bit faint on the first one.
So we got a confirmation. Mike says Bing Crosby's was released in 1942.
I was thinking 48, but even that's way out. Yeah, 42.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were thinking of the reissue.
What's that?
Maybe you were thinking of the 1951 reissue.
Well, and I know the movie with him and Danny. I can't think of his name. Danny Thomas. No, not Danny Thomas. Danny. The movie White Christmas.
Is it Danny Kaye? He's the
Yes.
only Danny I know.
Yeah, I was thinking Danny Thomas, but he was later. Yeah, Danny Kaye. I think that was either 51 or 53, but I just for some reason thought the song itself came out, but that makes sense. Bing Crosby actually died just a couple months after Elvis passed away.
Yeah, I saw the interview actually with him. Bing Crosby was being interviewed after Elvis died. And yeah, it struck me that he died in December. I remember he died in December 77. It struck me that it must have been one of his last interviews, because there was only about 4 months between Elvis dying and him dying.
I know. And I can't remember what his cause of death was. I don't know if it was cancer. I know he smoked that pipe for years and years and years. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
He wasn't a young man, though, was he?
No. He if I was to guess, I'd say he was early 70s, maybe. So so I think you are up, David.
Is it my turn? Where have I got to? Side 2, track 2. This is the I've got 2 Getting Home on Christmas Day songs. If I Get Home on Christmas Day, this is the second song on side 2 of Wonderful World of Christmas.
That is also my third song. If I Get Home on Christmas Day. So it's twice you and I picked the same song.
I actually prefer the bluesy song, the one that starts side 2, which is called I'll Be Home on Christmas Day, right?
Yeah.
I prefer that bluesy one, but I didn't want to choose 2 blues songs on the same side, so I chose the other one.
And if I Get Home on Christmas Day, it is a little bit. Oh, it does have a little bit of a little tinge of sadness to it, but I just really dig it. I think it's a great song. Let's see. Okay, I was gonna say Curtis and Mike are kind of talking back and forth. So just trying to keep an eye on the comments.
Coming in, having your private conversations.
Hey, they're having a good time. I appreciate them joining, so that's all good with me.
I'm only kidding.
So I don't know if you're up or I'm up. How many songs do you have left?
Did you say that you had "I'll Be Home for Christmas" as your next song?
No, I had side 2, I'll Be Home for Christmas, and then my second one was White Christmas, and then my third one was the same as you just said. If I Get Home.
All right, okay. So it must be me then. Okay, so my next song is The Wonderful World of Christmas, which I think is it's not one of my favorites, but I especially like the middle bit. You know, where it gets all Christmassy with the bells.
Yeah,
that part I really like.
That one did not make the cut for me.
Well, that was my last track that I chose because I was struggling between that one and that one about the holly leaves and Christmas trees, but that was too miserable. And then there was
Too miserable.
on a snowy Christmas night. I thought has a good message to it, like like be thankful for what you've got. I quite like that, but I just preferred the music in the middle of
Yeah.
the Wonderful World of Christmas. That's why. Listen to those wondrous bells. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, this is the ultimate Elvis Christmas album that you and RCA approached us and said, look, you guys need to come up with this. That's why we're paying.
I'm not sure they're going to be happy with my cover, but we'll see that later.
Did you come up with a cover too?
Yeah, when you said you'd done a cover, I thought, well, I better get one as well. So
you had to keep up with the Joneses, huh, David?
I couldn't have you do one and me not do one.
It's funny. After I did that, I thought, man, I hope David don't feel pressure to do it. I said, I bet you, knowing him, he's going to come up with a cool cover and probably blow mine out of the water.
No, it's not. It's not very cool. It looks like one of my typical video thumbnails. Actually, it could well be a video.
Yeah, I had the hardest time. It took me something so simple. It literally took me like 20, 25 minutes to do because I kept messing up. I'm like, and then I kind of went back and forth on which picture I was going to use, and I changed it 3 times. And then once I got what I wanted, I couldn't get the font right. And then I accidentally erased some of it, and part of the picture got erased. I'm like, this is just angry. Let me take a deep breath, find my zen, and I finally pictured it or finished it.
What software did you use to make it?
Oh, I simplified it. All I did was, I took a picture of it, I cropped it, and then I hit edit, and I just typed in the font, used the font size, color, and everything I want. So that's all I did. Very simple. Okay. Mm-hmm. What'd you use?
I use a website called Canva.
Yeah, I use Canva too. I just didn't do it on this particular one. So yeah, yours is probably going to destroy mine, which is all good.
Michael says, can't hear you guys well, and he's rebooting. Can everybody else hear us okay? If you can't hear us, let us know.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're talking about it, but
because I can hear you fine. I hope you can hear me fine. I'm getting some reverb, but I think it's just on my end. I don't think anybody else can hear it. It's like I can hear my voice on your end.
Okay, yeah.
Like I can hear me coming through on your end.
Like an echo.
Like an echo, yeah.
Mark has some feedback. It's saying here, Sturm Gover 70. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah, there's definitely. So I guess everybody else is hearing it too. I hate that. Yeah, I've tried fixing it. I've tried different adjustments, and now right now I don't hear it. In fact, I don't hear it at all. That's pretty cool.
Have you got 2 mics on the go?
No, just the one. Mm-hmm. Loud and clear speakers. Corner said, "Yacht echo. Both have YouTube muted if window."
What does that mean?
All right. So how many songs do we have left?
Well, I've only got 2 left.
That's what I have.
Right. So the fourth one on side 2 for me is "O Come All Ye Faithful," which I think you chose. No, you haven't. Yes, you did on side 1, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah,
I have 3.
Okay.
How'd that happen? Did I say Silver Bells yet?
No, you didn't mention Silver Bells. I would have remembered Silver Bells, definitely.
That's like that epitomizes Christmas for me.
Oh, maybe it's a popular song in America, but I have a problem with those contemporary.
Do you?
The modern Christmas classics that he does on that album. So there's Silver Bells is one of them, and the other one is Winter Wonderland. Yeah, I don't know. I wish he hadn't done those songs. He does okay. He does decent versions of them.
Winter Wonderland did not make my cut. Did not make my list.
Nah.
So my next to the last song is "Here Comes Santa Claus," which you had on side 1, I believe.
Right. Michael Johnson can't hear good even after the reboot. What's the problem, Michael? Is it feedback or something, or echo or something? I hear Elvis didn't want to do Silver Bells. That's what I hear anyway. Yeah. Well, he didn't he say to Steve, the guy who did the NBC TV special, Steve Binder, is that how you say his
Steve-
name?
Yeah.
He said, I'm never going to record another song I don't want to do.
Well, that was after he did "If I Can Dream."
Mm.
After he did that song, and it's funny because other than the different takes that they did, that was the only time he ever performed that song. He never did it live on any
Mm.
concert or any tour. And he said that. You're right. He said after that, I'll never do another song that I don't believe in or don't like, because he had done like Old MacDonald, Yoga is and as Yoga does. Like he hated doing those, but he was under
Mm.
contract.
And maybe he didn't do If I Can Dream because he looked so exhausted after he performed it on the '68 TV special.
I know.
So he probably I'm not doing that again. It's just too tiring.
But just the emotion that he behind it. I'm going to plug in. Give me a second. Hopefully, this doesn't alter anything. Can you hear me okay?
Nothing seems to have changed from my end, but the sound was okay anyway to begin with for me.
Okay.
Elvis really wanted to do Three Corn Patches?
Three Chord Pat. That is a horrible song. I'm
Mm.
sorry. I also read somewhere that Elvis was genuinely embarrassed at some of the sessions for the film songs and said the band just had to do the best they can. Well, I do know, and isn't hearsay. This is factual. Just I read it in a book that one of Elvis's bodyguards. I can't remember off the top of my head what book it was, but when he was approached to do that song, he actually got up and walked out of the studio, and he was basically
Song was
like,
that?
"I'm done. I don't do this. Is ridiculous. Like, why should I have to do a song like that?" And eventually, he had to be told that, look, you're under contract. These are the songs that have been proposed, and I guess he gathered himself and thought, and he was the consummate professional. And even though he hated every second of doing it, he still put his heart into everything he did. And I think that's why I admire him so much because, you know, and of course, later when he did "If I Can Dream," he said, "I'll never do another song I don't believe in." But, yeah, I mean, he did that one. I'm trying to think some of the other ones. Cotton Candy Land. Like, there was some stinkers out there, but overall, I think a lot of the soundtracks I think were very well done.
Yeah, I can quite enjoy most of them. Just a few
Yeah,
embarrassing ones, that's all. I
that
think it
shit.
must have depended on his mood that day. I mean, there's some sessions where he sounds like he's really enjoying it, like the session where he did Dating on Paradise Wine Style. He's in a really good mood that day.
Yeah,
It must have been it was a horrible song.
yeah. Like me and a friend and I were talking about this just about a week or so ago. Even like you take an album, like my least favorite soundtrack that he ever did is Frankie and Johnny. But I say that with a caveat because even as bad as a lot of that album is, there's some highlights on the album that are there's a few really good songs on there. And Paradise Hawaiian Style actually is kind of the guilty pleasure of mine. I actually really like the album in general.
Yeah, I like most of them because I remember buying them when I was a teenager, and they all came out at very cheap prices in about 1980. Budget priced albums, re-releases. So I was buying a lot of them back then. Things like
Yeah.
Girl Happy and Spin Out and Frankie and Johnny.
I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I will actually I would probably put Girl Happy as my number two all time favorite. I know a lot of people might be like, Mark, but I don't know. I just think it's a fun, upbeat. It fits. Of course, all of his albums that were kind of formulated and the songs fit the scenes of the movie. But as far
Mm.
as like an energetic, upbeat, fun album, I just think Girl Happy is just a great record.
Yeah, it's got some good songs on it.
Curtis says, I like Spin Out. Yeah, that's another album I really enjoy, is Spin Out. I think it's got some really good highlights. Um, Queenie, Queenie Wahine. Yeah, that song's brutal. But again, like you said, David, he sounds like he's having fun doing it.
Yeah, Frankie and Johnny title track is good. I remember recently I saw a video. There's a really good channel. I can't remember the name. Maybe it's called Yesterday's Papers. Does anybody know that YouTube channel? I
Is
think
it an Elvis channel or just different stuff?
it's a music channel, and he does a lot of old reviews from British magazines from the 1960s, like pop music magazines. And he was doing one about Dusty Springfield. She was reviewing the singles in 1966, and what it was, they listened to singles, but they didn't know who was performing. And then she was listening to Frankie and Johnny, and she's saying, "Oh, right, nice piano, nice bass playing." And then the vocal comes in, and she says, "Oh no, it's Elvis Presley. Take it off. It's rubbish." And I thought, what?
Yeah, Elvis Presley rubbish. Those three words should never be in the same sentence.
Well, I think that was the image that people had. I think he was considered so uncool at the time that nobody would take anything that he did seriously.
I mean, I can agree to that to a point. And the reason I say a point is there was only a small time frame where Elvis might have been looked at as uncool. Because you got to remember, you had Beatlemania, you had the Rolling Stones, you had the British invasion. So yeah, there was a few years where Elvis started feeling. I think he even questioned himself that, am I still relevant? Music was changing. You were getting more into, like I said, the British invasion. Acid rock was right around the corner, and I think he realized that, look, I got to get out of these soundtracks and, you know, change things up a bit. So my hold on, David. So this question is for both of us. Are there any Elvis soundtracks you struggle to get through right to the end? David, I'll let you go first. I think about it. I know.
Probably the first one. The first one that springs to mind is probably Harem Scarum. Not because I don't like it, but I remember when that 60 CD set came out, and I got that, and I played the Harem Scarum CD, and it got to the end of the sixth track, I think it was, and I thought, okay, that's enough for now. And then I didn't listen to the rest of it until later. So that's probably one that I would struggle to sit down to listen to it all the way through. And also Roustabout, because I don't like side 2 on Roustabout.
Yeah, Roustabout side 1 is amazing. It's funny you mentioned that. I was looking at the album the other day, and it's solid 1 through 5 or 6, and then the second side is just I don't know. It just doesn't hit you punch in the gut as good as this first side does. So I'm going to agree.
There's a lot of weak plot songs on that side. The funny thing is with like old Japanese LPs, I've seen quite a few copies of Roustabout over the years, and they always seem to turn up in really, really nice condition. It's as though people have like played it once or twice and thought, well, don't want to hear that anymore. Some of the other ones, they're quite hard to find in really nice condition, like Go Happy or Fun in Acapulco, for instance. It's hard to find those in near mint condition, but Roustabout often turns up like new.
I got a copy from somebody, a guy I buy from pretty frequently. He had a beautiful, I don't even know if it was ever played, and I think it was an LPM, it was a mono, and I put it on the turntable, and it was as quiet as my mom used to say. It was quiet as a church mouse. You didn't hear anything, and I thought, man, this is like it's never been played.
What about you? Did you have any soundtracks that you struggle to listen to all the way through?
The first one that comes to mind for me is Frankie and Johnny, although I like the first couple songs and the way it starts out. It starts out very high for me, and then it just crashes and burns. But honorable mention, as soon as you mentioned Harem Scarum, I'm like, man, do I choose Harem Scarum or do I choose Frankie and Johnny? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, those soundtracks were done really close together with you.
Yeah, they would have been, 65 and 66, yeah.
And I think you throw Paradise Hawaiian Style in there, but yeah, that's an album, Paradise Hawaiian Style. That's an album that I actually go to every so often. I enjoy it.
I just have good memories listening to the outtakes. That's why I quite like it.
Yeah,
the outtakes from the Elvis Aaron Presley box set.
Oh, okay. So we have one more, right, on the list?
I think so. Yeah, my last track on my album is "If Every Day Was Like Christmas," the '66 single.
Okay.
Got to get that one in there. That's one of his best Christmas songs.
Yeah. How did I miss that one?
You missed that one, didn't you?
I remember looking at it, but I didn't put it on the list for some reason. I think it's probably an honorable mention for me.
Right.
So this is why I said earlier in the conversation that you might laugh when I say this. So your song to start off side two was very upbeat, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, you said "Merry Christmas, Baby."
Yeah, that's the one.
That's how I closed my album. I wanted to close
Mm.
out on a high note, so my last song is "Merry Christmas, Baby" to
Mm.
kind of just fade out and end on a high note.
Yeah, either way. I think they put it in the middle of the side, didn't they, on the original album?
They did, like the fourth song maybe or something. I'm not sure on the second side.
Yeah, track 4, yeah, of 5 songs. Kind of wasted, stuck in the middle there.
On side two.
Yeah, yeah. Mm. On the original album, yeah, just before Silver Bells. So yeah, I could take it first track or last track, either way.
Yeah, I actually, listening to it, I think I kind of like your approach a little bit better. It's a nice way to, you drop the needle and that's the first song you hear, and then from my perspective, I'm like, yeah, end on a high note. They're both really, really good thought processes, I believe. So
I
don't
was
laugh,
just,
huh?
I was just reading about the sessions for that. Do you know the website keithflynn.com?
No,
It's a really good website for if you're interested in like sessions, the session data.
for just
So,
Elvis.
yeah, it's an Elvis site. And it's got all the recording dates and who played and who did the overdubs and everything. And according to that website, there's a guitar overdub on "My Christmas Baby," and you can actually hear 3 guitars on there. So some guy went in, I'm not sure if it was days or weeks later, and added a new guitar part. And I just wondered if it was the main riff that you hear at the beginning of the song. Where the guitar goes.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the overdub. Because I can hear James Burton's guitar playing clearly. That sounds totally different. And there's another guy playing guitar, and that sounds different. So I was just wondering if that was if the overdub was the main riff that you hear all the way through the song.
I don't know. That makes sense. Let's see. We got some comments to go through. So Mike says my top 5. Well, this gave me an idea. Before I read this, I'll read Mike's first because he's been reading. He says his top 5 Elvis soundtracks. Number 1 is Fun at Acapulco. Number 2 is Kiss Cousins. 3 is Blue Hawaii. 4 is Creole. 5, Easy Come, Easy Go. When I saw that comment earlier, I thought, you know what, Dave? That should be our top 5 favorite.
Well, some people might already know mine because I did some videos about that, ranking the
You did.
soundtrack. Yeah.
And I remember I watched it one Sunday afternoon.
I'm not sure I could tell you my top 5 and get them exactly the same as I did when I did those videos.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the beauty of the music.
I know that my top one is King Creole, and the second one is Spin Out's up there, and GI Blues is up there. Loving You is up there, and then Funny in Acapulco is also up there as well. So maybe I've got most of them correct.
A lot of people might know what the track is. You have any idea?
Your what? Your favorite?
What my favorite is?
Oh, your favorite is, you've said it before, it's Blue Hawaii.
Yes, it is Blue Hawaii. Great movie too.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in many years. There's a question regarding what David was saying about Dusty Springfield. Do you think some people believed Elvis was washed up and had become a one-trick pony because of purely recording soundtracks? I think that they just saw him as somebody from the past, whose best years were behind him. Wasn't making any kind of relevant music. It might have appeared a bit embarrassing to say you like Elvis in the mid-'60s if you were, in a band, or if you were a singer that kind of took yourself a bit seriously.
Yeah. I can agree with that. Roustabout went number 1 in the charts. I like Roustabout. But I'm kind of in agreement with David that I just think side two just falls flat. It starts out so well. I mean, you have Roustabout, you have Little Egypt, which I think for its time that was a very risque song. Um, but just this driving beat, and then you have a Hard Knocks, and you have all these great songs. And then you go to side two, you flip the record over, and it's just Carney Town, and I don't know,
Mm.
man. It's just I don't
No, I
know.
think it's less than 10 minutes long as well. It's side two of Roustabout.
Yeah. Michael Johnson says "Easy Come Easy Go" was a tough one for me.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie all the way through.
I've seen parts of it.
Mm. I haven't seen Stay Away Joe all the way through either.
No, I haven't either. It's a good movie. It's quirky, but I actually really enjoy watching it. And that is Live a Little, Love a Little.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites. Is that probably one of my top three to
It's
watch? Actually, kind of watch.
it's the one and only time, and they actually talked about this when I was reading an article that was written way back when, and it was a huge departure from the Elvis formula, so to speak. I mean, it had a lot of like sexual innuendos in it, a lot of some not hidden innuendos, some very front, like when he's on the beach and she just comes around and says, "Would you like to make love to me?" Like you would
Mhm.
never hear that and like Roustabout. Like it was just, and she has these multiple personalities, and he's in the shower and she's trying to hit him with the brush. Like it was a very for an Elvis movie, it was sexy, it was kind of bold, and the music in it was good with the few songs he
Mm.
did.
Yeah, not too many songs in it. Yeah.
And I think Elvis looked great. Um, he was fit. Uh, a good casket. I think Dick Sargent was in it. Um,
Mm.
then you have the whole edge of reality with the whole like dream sequence. I really enjoy it. It didn't do well in the theaters, but again, you had the same kind of thing over and over again. But I always enjoy that movie.
Yeah, it's one of my top three, I think.
So, do you think we'll ever get an Aloha Blue Blu-ray and the alternate show Blu-ray, like the 68 TV special big box set? Ken, I would venture to say yes. And the reason I will say yes is, as you know, in fact, it's in my library. Of course, the Elvis movie that came out, and David and I talked about at that something like that in our last live stream, our thoughts on that. But they, about a month ago, actually, I think it was November 15th, they released Blue Hawaii on 4K. And I do have a 4K player and a 4K TV, and it looks absolutely spectacular. It was shot in Technicolor, which is bright and bold anyway. But then you
Mm.
throw in the colors and the water and the mountains and the trees, and it is just a sight to behold. So I do think they're going to release more on 4K and more of his titles on Blu-ray. Let's see. New comments. Hold on. These comments. What is the movie Mark is talking about, please? Joanne. Was it Live a
Little.
Little?
Mm.
She might have missed it.
You have to
Paul,
watch Stay Away Joe all the way. It's a very funny film, well made. Okay, I'll give it a chance. I do have it on DVD, so I'll give it a chance.
Curtis says, I just got me a new 4K player and I already have a 4K TV. Yeah, once you have 4K, me personally, I do have some Blu-rays which I still watch. I have and it looks really really nice. Is the That's the Way It Is Blu-ray. It's a really really nice set. Yeah, Blast from the Past at Joanne, Live Little Love Little from 68.
So come on, I want to see your cover. Can you show us your cover? I'm not sure how I'm going to show you mine because I don't know what the share screen option is.
Oh, see, I actually printed mine out because I'm not tech savvy like yourself.
Well, I'm not either. Clearly, I'm still trying to work out how to do
All right,
this.
let me fold it in such a way where I can just kind of hold it up. Don't laugh. So, and on the
Very nice.
it says RCA Victor,
Uh-huh.
Elvis' Ultimate Christmas Album.
Good.
Can you see it okay?
Yeah, I can see it. Just hold it up a little bit so I can see the bottom. Okay, yeah. Very good. I can see if I can show you mine. What am I going to do? I'm just looking at all the different options here. Maybe you have to be the host to do a screen share.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you got an option on the screen there which allows you to let me screen share?
Yeah, I'm looking now. Give me a second. Settings.
I suppose I could post it on my community.
Yeah, it doesn't. I went under more and then settings, and there's nothing. They have like layout as far as how you could our split shot, but there's nothing for screen share, which is odd because I know like Microsoft Teams stuff like that is screen share. Sorry about that.
No problem. I thought I could do it, but clearly not. I'm just looking at the different options I've got here. Whoops.
That's actually a little bit better. I can see a little bit better. Yeah, that's actually a better shot of you. I had a hard time seeing you because you were. I think it's the layout of StreamYard.
All right. Dear. I'll try and think about how I can do it, but at the moment there doesn't seem to be a way of sharing my screen. That's a shame. I worked so hard on it as well.
How long did it take you?
About half an hour.
Yeah, I'm telling you, mine just that little simple shot I showed you. It took me like 20 minutes because
Right.
I am so not tech savvy at all. Like it's almost embarrassing.
I'm just going to my YouTube studio as we talk. I'll post it up there so you can see it.
So
Can you still
Mike,
hear me?
while you're doing that, Mike says I agree. Aloha from Hawaii is my favorite concert. Hard to believe it'll be 50th anniversary next month. I thought it was odd that they released the 3 CD FTD set when they did the year before. I would have thought they would have waited until the 50th anniversary.
Well, maybe it's because they knew that they were going to be releasing the on tour 50th next year. Oh, well, it'll be 51st, right, when it comes out.
Yeah.
Well, kind of unfortunate timing for Sony because you've got two big events, 50-year events coming at the same time, more or less.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people are still really up in arms about them not releasing more of the Elvis on tour. I'm happy with what's coming out in January. I think it's going to be. I don't know if you have the ability to do it, David, but I have Apple Music, and as of 2 weeks ago, you can stream all the shows, and it sounds phenomenal.
So what was that again, sorry?
I was saying how if you have like Apple Music or Amazon Music, the Elvis or box set you can stream now. It's available to if you have either of the platforms, you can stream it, download,
Right.
stream it. I think it sounds phenomenal.
Okay, I've got it up there now.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah. So if you go to my channel and look on the community tab,
okay,
you'll see I put an image up there.
I will check it out once we disconnect because I'm afraid I'll lose you and I won't get back. That's how
All
stupid
right.
I am with this stuff.
See how hopeless we are with tech, everybody.
Oh, you're way better than me. I will assure you of that. I'm actually looking into, a friend of mine was telling me, and if anybody here wants to comment, um, it's an editing software you can use. I can't remember what it's called now.
Video editing.
Yeah, it's video editing and things you can do to make your videos pop a little more. And I can't remember. I just right before about a half hour before I came on, a friend of mine who I talk to all the time told me about it. And I said, "What was the name of that?" He told me, and then but it's got like stock footage and stuff that you can do in videos.
All right.
Spotify. Yeah, I don't know if it's available on Spotify or not. Fast. Are you going to get that set, David?
Which one's that? Sorry.
The Elvis on Tour box set.
Same as I said about the FTDs. Really, it won't be cheap over here, so I'll just wait until it comes along used.
No. Why is it so much more expensive there? Is it because of like shipping it and all that?
I suppose so. Yeah. Maybe they don't. I don't think they import many huge quantities as well, so that's perhaps another reason.
Okay.
Sometimes they repackage it as well. They put like a little Japanese booklet in there with a little Japanese sticker on, and that allows them to bump up the price as well.
Huh. Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting it. I think it's going to
get
be
one. I'll just show you an example of what I'm talking about. So you see that? This is from Elvis in Nashville.
Oh, it's like it's like a almost like a Xerox cover, isn't it?
Well, the cover's the same. This is actually This is a European one, I think. Made, yeah, it's got Germany on the back.
Okay.
And an extra booklet that they put in there, like Japanese booklet, and then there's like an extra hype sticker down here. But I bought that new, and the price was I don't know the price. That's weird. They always put prices on Japanese things. I forget what it was now, but it was a lot more than you guys were paying for it in America and Europe.
That's so weird.
All it has is it has that booklet in there, and another hype sticker. Everything else is the same as the German version. But yeah, import stuff is not cheap here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be. Wow. I wanted to. I think I saw you hold it up there, David. I just gotta find it real quick. Pull up my Elvis stash.
Oh, somebody likes my my album cover. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I saw that. Now I saw you hold this up. You have the 1959, 1960 mono version of it.
Yeah.
I got this. Now it does have a little bit of yellowing on it. If you can see a little bit of yellowing on the top. It's got the original sleeve. I was blown away. I put this on the turntable about a week ago, and it played just nice and big. And I was really worried. I only paid about $35 for it, which is pretty cheap for this record. And I don't know if you can see, like, it has virtually no spindle wear whatsoever.
Oh, much nicer than mine.
And I dropped the needle on it, and occasional pop here and there, but man, it sounded good.
Mine's from about '63. I think it's got the word mono at the bottom. I think it's quite unusual, but it doesn't. It's been played quite a lot. It's got a lot of snap, crackle, and pop on it.
Well, I got that one, and then I do have the stereo, the reprocessor. This is the one that a lot of people have.
I saw that one in my local record shop actually, maybe a couple of weeks ago.
What were they asking for it?
I think it's about $25, something like that.
No, is that a pretty reasonable price?
Yeah, it is for an American original album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael says album cleaners. What do you prefer? You mean like machines or fluids or what?
Uh,
What do you use to clean your records?
what do I use?
Mm.
I have a. I don't use a machine. I have like a small brush about that big, and it kind of flares out and curves, and
Mm.
it's soft. And you put it like 2 or 3 drops of cleaner on there, and you actually put it on your turntable and lightly go over it,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
and it lifts all the dirt and fingerprints and everything up. And I didn't pay much for it. I mean, I would like to have a nice machine that costs a couple $100, but this works just as good. It cleans it up really nice. What do you
Mm.
use, David?
I use a spin clean. Have you seen
Is
that
like is it like a
yellow
machine?
plastic? No, it's not a machine. It's just a like a plastic container. You put the what do you call it? Not normal water. It's distilled water and record cleaning fluid, and it's got like two brushes that the record goes between the brushes, and you rotate it, and the fluid gets all over the records, and then you just dry it afterwards. It's like a record washer,
Oh, okay.
and you need one of those with Japanese LPs because sometimes they turn up quite because of the climate here. Sometimes the vinyl gets a little bit dirty, shall we say? So they do sometimes need a good cleanup,
So
and you can't really do that with just a brush.
Paul Grayson said um, he uses baby wipes and just a normal cleaning spray from my local record shop. But to be honest, the old baby wipes work great for me, along with a cloth and a brush. Wow, I did not know that.
Mm. And they're just like
Joanne,
100% water, and I guess there's just a tiny bit of alcohol in there, right?
yeah, that's the thing that I think you gotta really be careful with the alcohol that's in there. But I think with the baby wipes, it's minimal.
Mm. It's not going to be very strong, is it?
No. Mark and David, did you enjoy the Elvis movie with Austin Butler? It was filmed close to where I live. We
Haven't
talked
seen it.
about this. We talked about this
Still haven't
last
seen
night.
it.
Uh,
Mm.
David, they're not going to like what we have to say, are they?
Well, that's it. I haven't seen it and don't plan to see it.
Yeah, we
If it
talked
came
about
on TV, if it came on
it.
TV and I had nothing better to do, I might watch it. But,
Yeah,
at the moment,
for me personally, and I hope I don't make any enemies saying this. I just thought it was over sensationalized. I thought Austin Butler did an amazing job. He embodied a lot of what Elvis did. I loved the international sequences when Elvis performed there. I liked that they used a lot of the authentic, the costumes and or the jumpsuits. Um, but I thought this, and then somebody confirmed it. Somebody else and I were talking about it, and then somebody else confirmed it. I think they said that only like 20% of the entire movie was even accurate. Um,
mm,
and when I questioned that, somebody kind of came out, not went after me, but they were like, well, it's Hollywood, man. That's what brings people to the theaters. But I'm like, if you're putting a movie with the name Elvis on it, you got to have more than 20% of everything being accurate. And, um, the best thing that I can say, me personally, is there was a lot of things, some things I liked about it, but more things that I did not like about it. And I guess just the hype on it, and people saying that, oh, the movie needs to win an Oscar and it's the greatest movie I've ever seen. Like, me personally, I don't knock anybody who feels that way. It just, I've been an Elvis fan for 50 years, 50 years this year, and I've been collecting for years, and my love has never gone away for his music. I just walked out of the theater feeling a little disappointed, but again, that's me.
I saw Bill Maher. You know Bill Maher?
Yeah.
Uh, he was talking about the Elvis movie. I don't know what he was being interviewed by Weird Al Yankovic, I think it was.
Uh,
He wasn't very impressed with all the inaccuracies in it.
well, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I get it. And that was the argument that somebody had with me is, well, you got to understand, Mark, it's Hollywood, and they got to come up with these stories to bring people to the theaters. But I'm like, I get that, but you can't call it a biopic if 80% of the movie is inaccurate. You see what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. And like I said, I don't mean to upset anybody. I hope nobody, thinks I'm being harsh, but I keep it real and I try to be honest and not sugarcoat it. I'm not saying I hated it. I did not hate it. I just didn't, I know some people that went 4, 5, 6 times to see it. I saw it once and that's enough. I don't own it.
Mm.
When it came out on 4K, I didn't buy it. I don't know if I will ever buy it. I might someday, but I just I just didn't see what all the hype was. Like I enjoyed parts of it, but there was a lot of stuff I didn't care for. And Tom Hanks had this really weird
Accent, yeah.
accent. It was just so over the top weird. And I heard other people say, "Oh, Tom Hanks, throw him another Oscar, man. He just killed that role." I'm like, all the makeup and prosthetics, and I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. That's my
I saw the trailer. I just didn't really feel the need to go and see it. That's all. I've
yeah.
got no problem with the historical inaccuracies. I'm not too bothered about that. I know it's Hollywood, so they're going to do that. But I just didn't really feel the need to go and see it.
Yeah. Elvis last Michelle, she went. Yeah, Blast from the Past was saying Elvis. Like, you know Elvis last? She, Michelle, who had her channel, David.
Yeah, yeah.
I think she actually saw it like 11 or 12 times. And bless her heart, man. I mean, she's as big as Elvis fan as they come. She really is. And I know she was hyped about it, and she just loved it. And again, I don't knock anybody. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody else. It just what I love about Elvis's music. It just the movie didn't embody that for me, and that's just my opinion. I saw it one time, not buying the record or movie, and that's the other thing. Like people went gaga when the soundtrack came out. I'm like, I wouldn't have a copy unless you gave it to me. You know, there's hardly any Elvis vocal songs that he sang in. It's all like rap artists, and it's just not my cup of tea.
Mm. Yeah, I've not even seen the soundtrack. I haven't looked into it or anything.
Yeah, they released it. They released it here at Walmart on colored vinyl. I think it's an orange or gold vinyl. I know it came out on CD about a month or so before, and I don't know. I just like I said, it just was not my cup of tea. It made our albums go berserk. Oh, I know what you're talking about, Mike. I thought you were talking about the sound. You're talking about the cleaner.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm always a little hesitant to over clean. I think you can over clean records. I think sometimes people really, really put a lot into the different fluids and cleaners and all that. And sometimes I wonder what it does to the album.
I just clean them once in a while, and then if I'm playing them, I just give them a brush before I play them. That's all. Just brush the
Well,
dust off.
that's what I do. If I get a brand new record, and I know a lot of people, a lot of the channels I watch. I know Scotty from Scotty's Elvis Presley music channel. I know even when he gets a brand new album, he's got it was really nice. He puts it right through the machine and then puts it on. Me, if I'm opening an album for the first time, it's brand new. I have a soft, like a record brush, and I'll put it on the turntable. I'll put it on low speed. I'll brush it off, get all the extra loose dust off and pieces of paper, whatever, and it plays perfectly. Um, some people recommend no, no, no. You got to clean it, even if it's brand new. But I don't know. I don't, and I think mine sound fine. But I'm not an expert by any means.
Well, it might just stop it being a bit staticky if you give it a wet clean.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. Blast from Your Past says, I must admit the soundtrack is a bit odd. It's a mashup of rap and hip hop music mixes, etc. Yeah, that's why I had no interest. Yeah, you got Eminem on there and all these other artists, and I don't know, just not for me. Let's see. Record use. Yeah, if I buy, I will clean them. non-alcoholic baby cleaner, and a microfiber cloth, and then a rinse off with pure distilled water. It's actually a good idea. So you have any plans for Christmas, David? Traveling anywhere?
Not really. Christmas is kind of a bit weird over here because it's just a normal day. So luckily this year it falls on a Sunday, so we'll all be at home. But normally Christmas Day, like my son's at school, my wife's at work, and I don't work on Christmas Day unless I have to. So usually I'm here on my own.
Yeah.
A bit like Elvis in his Lonely Christmas songs.
Do they celebrate it as highly as they do here in the States?
Well, it's kind of a commercial thing, and it's more of a couples thing than anything else. And it kind of all ends on the 25th. So like Christmas Eve is a day for couples to go out, to go out for a date and get something to eat and everything. And then on the 25th, it's basically over. Like my son, we'll get to Christmas morning and he'll open his presents or whatever. And then later on in the day, he'll say, right, let's put the tree away. And I'll just say to him, no, this is just starting. This is the first day of Christmas, not the last day.
He's ready.
It just ends very quickly,
He's ready to pack everything away. It's Christmas.
Yeah, you want to put the tree away. On the 25th, it's the first day of Christmas. But that's the way it works. This kind of steady build up, with you can hear the piped music if you go out into the shops, and even on the streets sometimes you can hear music being played.
Yeah.
It's advertisements on the TV and in magazines for food and stuff, and Christmas cards available in the shops, and there's this kind of a steady build up, and then 25th, get to the 25th, and all of a sudden it just stops, back to normal.
Wow.
And then the focus then is on New Year, because New Year's a big thing here.
Yeah. Yeah, that I have heard. I just didn't know how big Christmas was celebrated where you are.
Some people give presents to kids, basically. Yeah, it's more for the kids. But it makes it easy for me because I don't really have many people to worry about buying presents for. I mean, I haven't even started my Christmas shopping yet. And you were saying you're pretty much finished.
Well, that's because and we with my wife's family, my siblings and I, we don't exchange. We haven't for years. We do for my parents, and actually on Saturday, I'm having my one brother. I actually have three older brothers and a younger sister, but one brother, my one brother's lives out in Arizona, so I don't see him hardly ever just because he's so far away. My other brother has a lot of health issues, and he's been sick a lot lately. And my one brother and then my younger sister is coming here Saturday, and we're getting a lot of food and ordering food here, and we're going to watch some National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation on the telly.
That's an old.
Catching up.
Is that an old movie? Is it?
What's that?
Is that an old film? National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
And everybody's like, "You've never seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?" I'm like, "Nope." It's my brother's favorite movie.
Is it a comedy, right?
It's a comedy. Chevy Chase.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have two brothers, and they're a little bit younger than me, and we never really bothered, exchanging presents. But one year we decided to do it, and we ended up buying each other the same present. So we just thought, well, we won't do that again. Exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess we should probably wrap this up in the next few minutes. But yeah, if you're cool with it, man, I always give you. You're the producer, the director. You always come up with these fantastic ideas when we talk back and forth through email. Like, let's do this, and it always works splendidly. So, I guess I'll leave it up to you to come up with the next topic.
We'll have to I'll try and figure out a way of sharing images next time. Ken's asking me, do you have LPs that are sung in Japanese by the artist? I've got a couple of singles, I think, by Japanese artists that's sung in Japanese. Actually, I do have a single. Yeah, I've got. Let me get this out for you just very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I can find it. It's actually an Elvis song sung in Japanese. I know it's right here. Just give me a second. Here we go. Here we go. Saw this on an auction site, so I had to get it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Girl happy here in English, and it says it there in Japanese in the pink lettering here. And this group of young lads here, they are called Johnnies.
Now, how old is that record?
It's the same year, 65.
Oh, wow.
And it's got copyright 65 on the bottom here. And what they do is they sing part. You won't be able to see it very well, but the lyrics are on the back cover there. But some of it's in English and some of it's in Japanese. And the Japanese is not. It's not a translation of the English lyrics. It's just like new Japanese lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an example of a record I have that's sung in Japanese. The other songs are all sung in Japanese, and they're not Elvis songs. That's an EP from 1965, and it's actually also on the same label as Elvis's Japanese records, Victor label.
Oh, wow.
Now I've got another couple somewhere, but I don't have any LPs. I don't really listen to music performed by Japanese people, to be honest. I'll let my son do that. He's into all the Japanese pop music.
So before we end this, I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you. I was going to email you. Ask this. I'm sure it's copyright issues. How come the Japanese just say Victor and it has Nipper on it, but there's no RCA? What is the reason behind that? Is it due to copyright?
The Victor. Well, Victor, as far as I remember it, Victor was once a part of the American company Victor Talking Machine, I think it used to be called, going back, I don't know, early part of the 20th century. And then they broke away. I think it was something to do with the war. So then Victor became a Japanese company with no connection to the American company. So so that's what happened. It was just a separate company from a certain point in during the war, I think, or after the war. So they were always called. Yeah, so it was Victor Talking Machine, wasn't it? The original American company was called Victor Talking Machine or something like that. So when the Japanese company was formed, there was no RCA, as far as I know. There was no RCA Victor. So there was no reason to call it RCA Victor in Japan. It was just called the Victor Company of Japan.
Oh, wow. But they were still able to use.
They did call it Victor Talking Machine, Victor Talking Company of Victor Talking Company, or something like that, because the name in Japanese was that Victor Talking Machine Company or something like that, and then they changed it to Victor Company of Japan. But it was never called RCA Victor in Japan, because RCA Victor came later in America, right?
Yeah, it's RCA Victor, but I'm just surprised they were still able to use the Nipper and
that
logo,
isn't it? They obviously had the rights to use it.
But yeah.
Yeah. And then when they changed to RCA in 1969, 1970, when they started using the RCA logo in Japan, they were not allowed to use the Victor name. They had to keep those separately, because Victor was still releasing records as Victor, but for other artists.
Yeah.
So Elvis's 70s records are on RCA in Japan, but other artists have their records released on Victor in Japan, like Japanese artists.
So the later ones for Elvis, it was only RCA. They couldn't use Victor together, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And they couldn't use the Nipper logo. So when all the 60s albums were re-released on RCA, they had to get rid of the Nipper logo, and they couldn't use the Victor name on there either.
Well, you had reached out to me earlier tonight and asked to pull out my Fun in Acapulco that I got from you, the Victor Japanese one, because you could date it, and it is. Before we came on, I for about 10 minutes I kept looking for it. It's not down here.
Okay.
Boxed it away. So for our next video, if you're cool with it, I'll pull that out and show it to you.
Yep. If you just let me know what's in the run out area, I should be able to date it for you.
I came across and I bought it Fortunately, I didn't pay a ton for it. I got a Blue Hawaii Victor record, and I went to put it on the turntable a few days ago, and the first 2 songs are warped.
Really? So does it sound bad?
What's that?
Does it sound bad?
Oh, the needle won't even touch the grooves.
Really? It's just bouncing about all over the
It
place.
just bounces, and I'm like, I can't do this. I'll mess up the stylus and the needle. So I took it off, and I'm like, I got it upstairs. I didn't throw it away, but I'm like, so because the sleeve and the cover's in fantastic shape. It's just that part of the record.
Is it a monocopy?
It is. I think it is.
It's funny. I was just saying on a video I did the other day. I've actually got 2 copies of the album in recently, and both of them, the record. There's a problem with the record, even though the covers look like they look immaculate. And one of them was just like yours. Yeah, it's got a bit of a warp, and every time the needle goes over the warp, it makes like a swishing sound.
So disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just reading some of these last few comments. But yeah, this is fun, man, and I'm glad I stayed awake for it.
I always feel bad about starting at this time, your time, because it must be after midnight there where you are now.
Yeah, it's about 12:40 or so. But don't feel bad. No, I know it's a good time for you, and I'm a night owl anyway. I'll probably be, after I hang up with you, I'll probably be up another half hour, because it's like last time. I think I was emailing you or chatting with you through email after we hung up for a little bit. So no, you don't have to feel bad at all. I'm up fairly late, so just my body.
Okay. Yeah, it's early in the morning in the UK.
Yeah, I saw that 5:40 a.m. Wow. And what's it? 2 something where you are, David?
2:45 now. Yeah.
Oh man.
Time to go for a nice afternoon stroll, I think.
Yeah. Well, David, it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime next year, early next year.
Yeah, we'll let the holidays pass, and we'll reconvene in January if you're good with that.
Yeah, okay. We'll do it on my channel next time.
We'll do it on your channel, absolutely. You can send me the link, and we'll do it. So everybody who tuned in, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
We appreciate it. And David, I'm sure I'll be chit-chatting through you through email, but I hope you and everyone here has a very healthy and very Merry Christmas. And
yeah, you too. You too.
We'll see you all soon.
Yeah, all right. Take
All
care,
right.
Matt.
You
Happy
too.
Christmas to everyone. Bye then.